Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Powerful Man Show. I am your host, Doug Holt, with my co-host, Franco Burrows. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Doug. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Really excited about this topic. I'm really excited to have you on today. Yeah, for those that don't know, Franco is a graduate of both the activation method, the Alpha Reset, I guess, and is a member of the Brotherhood. And on top of that, Franco is the guy that you will talk to if you ever book a call with a powerful man, just to find out more information. He is the director over here and a man that leads other men to the promised land, we'll say, going through. But one of Franco's passions and areas of expertise, guys, is women. And don't we all have a little bit of struggles here and there with the women in our lives? And so, Franco, what I want to talk about today is flirting. Something that you've coached a lot of the men, both married and single men, recently single for a while, going through in different ways of what flirting is and how to flirt. Because a lot of guys just, as soon as they get the woman, right, they get her, they work so hard, and then they just stop altogether. And then as the years go by, things drift off. So let's kick this off, Franco. First of all, let's talk about what is flirting.
Yeah, it's something that I agree. It's something that we all know how to do. Otherwise, we wouldn't get any women at all. And I'm sure pretty much everyone listening today has got some woman. And the women in our lives, very often we don't remember what we did so well in the beginning. So one of the things I like to do is break it down into the mechanics. It's like lifting up the hood in the car and poking around and seeing what's happening. But yeah, so much of it is, that's what makes it fun, isn't it? That's what makes a relationship fun, the flirting. It's the best bit, And I talk about, it's like, you can either talk to the Catholic nun who's like in her 70s, obviously Catholic nuns are great. But they may not always be the most fun to talk to. They may be a little bit stern. They may, they're great people. But they may have some rules, that you need to adhere to. And then you've got like this 21-year-old, very feminine, animated girl who's like, very soft, very girly, and she just wants to have fun. She wants to go on adventures. And be led by a strong, powerful man. And which one would we rather, interact with more often? Which one would you rather interact with more often?
I'll take the 20-year-old.
Yeah, so for me, it's about how we bring that out in the women in our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get down to it, because I know a lot of guys listening to this, they're alpha men, or have been in their lives at least at one point or another. And just somewhere along the way, they've gotten a little bit older and they've gotten a little bit more complacent. And, they've been out of the game. And even if they're in a marriage, you still need to be in the game, right? You still need to be keeping it fresh. So what would you say to them? What's the first place to start?
I would say that, there's two things. There's becoming the alpha again, because what I find is, not in all cases, but in most cases, guys get into a long-term relationship, throw marriage, kids, business into the mix. And it's easy, as we know, for them to become the provider and just, serious, the conversations are very serious. And, it's like, what are we going to do? Take the kids off to different practices, and what time, how do our schedules compare, and all that sort of stuff. So it's just having the mindset of being fun, first of all, and then recognizing it's not always going to be the same as when we were dating, because, the dynamics are different in a long-term relationship. It's like, for example, it's harder to play hard to get in a marriage because, like, you're married. So, that's not always going to work. But I think just teasing is great. And sometimes when things are a little bit off or they've been serious for a while, sometimes, it can sort of throw women off. So the big one for me is when you tease, you're showing that you're the alpha, so that's great. But you also want to show her that she's special.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, don't show her that you're the alpha, but also without showing her that you're special. Okay. And then it works the other way. Don't show her that she's special without also reminding her that I'm the alpha, So the classic one is when she walks through the door, you hold it open for her like a gentleman, and then you smack her ass on the way through. So it's like, I'm the alpha, I'm also a gentleman, and you're special,
So I love this. And you've talked about a couple of examples with some of the guys in the Brotherhood who've gone pretty deep with this topic. And a couple things here, right? One is us guys, we like teasing's great. But sometimes some of the guys, we can get sarcastic. We can take sarcasm into teasing, and it can be really tough. So as a married man, you've been with your woman 10 years, let's say, and all of a sudden, okay, I'm going to start amping things up back in the bedroom. I'm going to get through it. And I'm going to tease her. And that teasing can, for some guys, cross the line, right? It could become into put downs. And where is that line, and how can guys just getting back into this, really toe that rope, so to speak, to make sure they're not crossing over the threshold?
That's a great question. I would say it's very different. It's not like you're not teasing your friend, your guy friends. That's different, because that can, it's like us. We can go back at each other, and we know that we're testing each other. Really, that's what we're doing as guys. Whereas women, it's much more of a playful, softer vibe. But you're sort of showing your strength, but you're showing your softness as well. So that's why it only works, in my experience anyway, if the playfulness is there and the softness is there with it too. So it's definitely more on the fun side and the light side. Yep. Does that make sense?
It makes sense to me. I mean, I'm posing you questions for the other guys. So something I think about when I'm talking to guys about this is, you almost want to have a giggle in there, right? That both of you are kind of giggling and like little kids a little bit. That kind of playfulness where it's not serious. There's not a serious tone. Because when you're being playful and you're teasing, it's not your words that need to be alpha, right? It's not your tonality that needs to be alpha. It's your presence, which is very different, right? So you don't have to be very stern. You don't have to say things matter of fact. It's just supposed to be very playful. And part of that, it's like tennis. It's like a tennis match. And she may volley back to you, right? Which commonly is called a shit test, as you mentioned in an earlier episode. But that's where your reaction there with the tease is everything. If you take it seriously and you take it personally, gentlemen, you've lost. That flirting is over. But if you're able to joke with her back and actually volley, like a tennis ball, volley it back lightly, like you're not slamming it at her, you're just volleying it back lightly to her, that's when the flirting really starts to happen.
Yeah, and you can still, if you're having banter, you can still win. It's like, it's like if you're playing thumb war, with your wife, then it's not going to do any harm if you win. It's probably better, than her beating you all the time. But you can still have fun with it. It's not like, I smashed you. It's like, what can I say? I'm the best. You did really well. So
absolutely. And so when you're looking at this, you're looking at flirting like a lot of the guys. There's a guy in the Brotherhood that recently reached out to you. There's a post he put up there, and then you're having conversation with him. And one of the things that he wanted to work on was starting to get back into flirting with his wife, right? Starting to get back and keeping that energy there, that spark alive. So what were some of the suggestions you gave him? Because I think it might help some of these guys.
Yeah. Well, if it's the one that you're thinking of, I think we were talking about, it's like you say, flirting it's a 24-hour thing.
Yeah.
It's not just like, I'm going to throw a few lines at her and, it's like, doesn't matter whether you're just meeting someone new for the first time or you're in like a 20-year marriage. It's who you are as a man. So one of the things we did was, if he initiated some intimacy with his wife, it would just be like, if she knocked him back, which, we speak to a lot of guys that's happening to,
Yep.
then he just grabs his gym bag and he's off to the gym. Not in a huff. He might make her a cup of tea before he goes, or a drink, and say, I'm just going off to the gym, enjoy your lie-in or whatever she's doing. I'll see you in 45 minutes, and that can be flirting, because it's saying, I'm going to get my needs met no matter what, in a healthy way.
Well, that's the key right there, right? Is the healthy way part.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and in that particular instance, I'm not saying that works every time, she grabbed his hand and pulled him back into bed, So, yeah, it can work really well. It depends on the dynamics,
Yeah, well, the analogy that comes to mind when you talk about that is almost like a cat, right? And you got a ball of yarn and a little string, and you're dangling it in front of the cat.
Yeah.
As soon as you pull it, if you just left that string there, the cat would be bored with it. But until you start dangling and you start pulling the string away from the cat, then all of a sudden the cat wants that string and it wants to pull it back in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've got a really good friend. He runs a boot camp business. He's flying. He's got nearly 1,000 members. Okay. And his wife, who's an amazing woman, she got a little bit, shall we say, insecure, just after she got pregnant. Okay. Now, it was normal for her to go through that, but he is like so loyal to her. He would never do anything untoward. I know he wouldn't, but she knows that he is the leader of that gym, and he's in amazing shape. That helps, obviously, but that's not by accident either. And everyone in that gym looks up to him, the men and the women. And that's very sexy, obviously. So it's like, I think that's a good example, because he's not doing anything untoward. It's not like he's going out and outrageously flirting with women in an inappropriate way, but it's like men look up to him, women admire him, men want to be him. And it's who he is as a man. He can't help being that man, So the reason why I mention that is because I read a study once where when we move in with women, their attraction for us actually can go down very quickly. It's like, I've got him. He's my catch. I don't need to fight for him. Nobody's gonna. I don't need to worry about someone else picking him up. Whereas for men, our attraction for women, it does go down, or can go down, but it does go down very slowly if it does. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So for that reason, we need to be aware of these things, these dynamics, like you say, the cat string. So in my friend's situation, the cat string is, the cat's always going, oh, okay, the cat's on their toes.
Yeah. So we're talking about it now. Right now, a lot of the places, COVID's happening, countries are coming out of lockdown, some are going back into lockdown. And so you're around your partner a lot. And we are talking about is adding a sense of mystery to the element, right? Going to the gym or just leaving and just saying, I'll be back, and not maybe saying where you're going, or leaving randomly, or creating an air of mystery there, because the hunt is not on anymore, right? The hunt isn't there, and doing so respectfully. And so going back to flirting and how this all ties into flirting. So let's just say theoretically, you're going to leave and take off during the day or what have you, and your wife goes, where you're going. And then you can jokingly tell her a joke, right? I'm going to my mistress's house, something, as long as you have that banter or what have you, make it as funny as possible. So if your wife's really worried about you cheating, pick something different, right? But but along those lines, or I'm going to go try out for the professional football team, or whatever it is, as long as it's joking, but then you leave, right? You don't say the real answer per se. And there's that playful banter that can start.
That's a great one.
Gotta be that playful energy.
Never give them what they want. Without sort of teasing them a little bit. So it's like, oh, can you get that for me off the top of the cupboard? No. And it's like, what? Okay. And then you get it, or can you take out the trash? rubbish, as we say.
Yeah.
No, so always say no first. It's like, start with no.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the healthy one.
Starting with no is a great one. You can go back to something like, can you grab the dishes or something like that? And you can say, hey, only if you put on that French maid outfit,
Yes.
And come up with something creative. And if you can do it in a playful way that's also sexy, guys, that really gets things going, because they talk about women and men, right? A guy is like a hot flash, right? But a woman's like a slow boil. And to get her warmed up and get her going takes a long time. Flirting can start for a lot of women 24, 48 hours before the actual act of sex, right? That intimacy, not flirting, but to get things going on. And so you want to have that slow boil always going on, right? And that heat constantly raised. And the more you can make your woman feel like she's desired by you, which is a big thing for women, desired by you, but still elusive, that's something you can always keep that flame on. So, pretty soon you're going to be like this other guy that you were talking about, Franco, that, he gets up to go to the gym and his wife's like, get back in here. Get back in this bed. We got some stuff to talk about or do.
Yeah, it's want versus need, isn't it? It's showing that you want her, you find her attractive, maybe even irresistible, which is going to turn her on, but you don't need her, And that was the perfect thing with what the guy we're talking about did, is he initiated intimacy. She didn't want it, and he was like, "That's cool," but he went for it. He owned it. And then he was like, well, I'm gonna be intimate with myself now. I'm gonna go and seduce myself in the gym. I'm gonna look after myself and make myself healthier and have more energy and all that good stuff. So want versus need, I find that a good guideline.
That's another thing that you bring up that I think a lot of men miss, is the initiation portion, right? A lot of guys, they've been rejected before, or their wife has said something to them, and so they stop initiating altogether. They wait for her to initiate each and every time.
Yeah, and it just seems to be the way it works, that men are the pursuers, and that's the healthy way. And it's like a lot of things, if we take her literally at her word. I mean, I spoke to a guy not so long ago. He said his wife told him not to do something, and he stopped doing that for a couple of days, and then she had to go with him because he didn't do it. So it's like, what do you want me to do? So we can't. It's not to say that women can't be rational, obviously, but if we take everything at face value, then we're going to be chasing our own shadow.
Yep.
And the guideline I would use is that it's leading, it's setting the frame, and it's very attractive to have a man who goes after what he wants. And it's even more attractive then if he doesn't get what he wants, then she can see, not to say he's going to go off and cheat, but he's going to go off, he's going to get his needs met somehow in a healthy way.
Yeah.
And that's the type of guy he is,
We talked about this earlier. It's kind of the idea. I like this because it's a visual with a rock, right? Throw a rock up in the air, it's coming down. You're so solid in yourself, guys, and knowing who you are as a powerful man, that you can't be rocked, you can't be moved, you can't be shaken. That's the sexy part that you're talking about is, she can come back to you and, she doesn't want to have sex for whatever reason, and you're like, yeah, cool. You make a joke about it. Cool. I'm going to go to the gym then. And instead of pounding the headboard, I'm going to pound the weights. And, and you make it fun, right? So you make it a joke that she can relate to, and you head off to the gym. And what's she going to be thinking the whole time you're at the gym? What girls are there? Here he is, my man, sexually unsatisfied, horny. Now he's at the gym. Who goes to the gym, right? People that are getting themselves in shape, people that are bettering themselves. I used to own a gym, so I know. So this is where, it gets fun. It gets fun for you, it gets fun for her. And this is where the flirting really begins. But it's you taking the initiative. And I think that's something a lot of guys forget about, especially in our society today, where, the woman's always right, no means no, which it does, right? But it still doesn't mean you can't ask for that no and be the pursuer.
Yeah. And that's a really good point about no means no. It's like, we all know there's a tone of voice where she could say no, but the tone of voice is screaming yes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And if we just take the language at face value, we can miss all the other signs of, and it could be a shit test. You know, if she's knocking back, it's like, can he read me? You know, it's a test for, can he read what I want? It could be a test for, can he deal with rejection? Because if he can't deal with rejection with me, how is he going to deal with rejection out in the world when he's slaying the dragon or whatever? So yeah, could be a shit test too.
Absolutely. So shit test, we've talked about this number of times. I can already hear a couple guys going, what the heck is he talking about? How would you describe that?
Well, there's something about the way women have evolved over however many hundreds of thousands of years to unconsciously want to or need to test for the strength of the man they're with. How strong is he? And it's not always about literally how much weight can he lift or can he beat someone else up. It's, you know, like we said, can he deal with things? If he can't deal with me criticizing him or testing him or knocking him back, rejecting him, then how is he going to deal with the challenges of keeping me safe? You know, or whatever. So it could be, you know, if he can deal with a knockback from me, then he must believe in himself. If he believes in himself, then I believe in him, you know.
I love it. So Franco, in wrapping some of this up here, I know you and I can talk about this all day, and I love it. And maybe we definitely will do a part 2 of this and deeper dive. But what I want to do is leave the guys with a couple actionable things they can do today. Right now, right today, in the moment of any inspiration, what can they do now to get flirting back into the relationship?
First thing is yourself. Focus on yourself. You know, we talk about this on the program, seducing yourself first. So being in shape, having a good morning routine. And when I say being in shape, whatever shape you're in right now, just, you know, gently improve it on a day-to-day basis. Morning routines, evening routines. I know for me, my evening routine was the hardest to nail down. Morning routine's pretty good. I've been a morning person, I would say, for about 20 years. Eating well, you know, all the things that are gonna build your vibe. And, you know, it's like we were talking about being playful earlier. Laugh at your own jokes. If other people are, you know, if you're having fun with yourself, that's infectious. So, yeah, you know, that's the first thing. Focus on yourself, your energy, and your state. And then second thing is, like we say, be playful. And don't do it with don't do it with a goal in mind. You know, of, right, if I say a certain thing, if I get her laughing 3 times, then I can throw her on the bed and rip her clothes off. It's like, no. It's you know, that's the way seduction works, isn't it? She's having that experience of, this is fun, and it just happened, you know. And really, that's probably the ideal, is for her to feel like, wow, it just happened, you know, and for you to feel the same way.
Spontaneity is amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome, my friend. Well, once again, thank you so much for all that you do for the men around the world, the guys that are calling up, but also the guys in the brotherhood that you're always assisting. You're a heck of a guy, a true powerful man. So thank you for being you, and thank you for being here with us.
Thank you very much, Doug. I love being part of the team, and I love talking today. It's been fun.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We'll definitely have you back on soon. Gentlemen, that's a wrap for us at the Powerful Man Show. Of course, as always, go over to thepowerfulman.com/bonus. Pick up your free training there. We change out the trainings all the time and always are making them better. So if you've already gone over there previously, go over there again on a regular basis and just check it out to make sure you got what you need. Until next time, have a great day, and we'll see you next time on the Powerful Man Show.